It wasn't until I retired that I realized how fragile peace could be. After 40 years of teaching, raising my daughter alone after her father died young, and scraping every penny into a modest nest egg Guy thought I could finally rest, I had dreams of planting roses in the garden, joining a book club, and maybe even traveling to see the northern lights one day. But those dreams depended on one thing: the savings I had carefully tucked away for decades, and I had entrusted that responsibility to my daughter. Olivia. I never expected betrayal from my own blood. Olivia was my world from the moment she was born. I did everything for her. Her father passed away from a heart attack when she was just 5. I remember holding her at the funeral, her tiny fingers gripping my dress, asking, "Will Daddy come back if I wish? Hard enough?" That day, I promised I would give her everything, and I did private school, piano lessons, college, her wedding, her down payment on the house, all from my hard-earned money, and never once did I keep count. It's for family, I'd tell myself. It's for Olivia. When I decided to retire, she insisted on helping with my accounts. "Mom, you're too trusting," she said. "Let me manage your investments and online banking. One scam email and you could lose everything. I'll make sure it's safe." I hesitated, but I was tired, and her tone made me feel like a burden. "All right," I said, handing her my documents and passwords. That was the beginning of the end. At first, everything seemed fine. Olivia showed me spreadsheets every few weeks. "See, the market's good. Your savings are holding strong. You're doing well, Mom." I believed her until little things began to feel off. One day, my debit card declined at the pharmacy. Olivia blamed it on a technical glitch. Then came a letter from my bank, asking me to confirm a change in beneficiary. I never requested any changes. Olivia said it was probably just an auto update. She always had answers. She always spoke fast, but her eyes stopped meeting mine. One rainy afternoon, I sat in my living room with a cup of tea, thinking about the cruise my neighbor Mildred had just returned from. We had once planned to go together after retirement. I pulled out the bank statement she had left in the mailbox by accident and noticed something strange. The balance was shockingly low, trembling. I went upstairs to the desk drawer where I used to keep backup documents. Olivia had cleaned it out months ago, saying she'd store everything digitally, but in the corner behind old tax forms, I found a single printout, a record of a wire transfer, $20,000 to a private account I didn't recognize. It was in Olivia's name. My heart pounded so hard. I had to sit down. This wasn't a mistake. This was theft. From my only child. I didn't want to believe it. I told myself there must be a reason, a misunderstanding. Maybe she had moved funds for a better return, but I needed to hear it from her. So I called her that evening and said I needed to talk. Urgently. She came over the next morning wearing designer boots and holding a smoothie. "Hi, Mom. What's the emergency?" I handed her the printout. Her face froze for just a second, barely noticeable. "Oh, that," she said casually. "That was just a temporary account. I was moving money around for tax purposes." $20,000, I asked. "Look, it's complicated. Do you really want to worry about all this? That's why I said I'd handle it." "Olivia," I said softly, I think I want to take back control of my accounts." And that's when her face changed. Her voice lost its sweetness. "Mom, you don't know what you're doing. You're acting paranoid. I just want to see where the money is." She stepped toward me. "You don't trust me?" I was silent. And in that silence, something in her snapped. "I have sacrificed everything for you," she shouted suddenly. "I put up with your guilt trips, your lectures, your constant hovering. I used that money for real things, not to hoard in some dead account." "For real things?" I asked. "Like what?" She hesitated. "I paid off my credit cards, renovated the bathroom, a few vacations, nothing crazy." "You said it was safe?" I whispered. "It is safe," she snapped. "With me? I want it back." That's when her eyes went cold, and before I could step back, her hand reached out not to grab me but to shove me. My foot caught the edge of the stair, landing, and then everything went black. I woke up in the hospital. 2 broken ribs, a fractured wrist, a concussion. The nurses said Olivia brought me in saying I tripped while cleaning. She sat beside my bed, eyes wide and fake concerned. "Oh, Mom," she said sweetly to the nurse. "She's always forgetting to hold the railing." I wanted to scream, but I couldn't prove anything. I was terrified. She leaned close and whispered, while no one was watching, "Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I can take care of everything. Or I can walk away and leave you with nothing." And just like that, the daughter I raised was gone. I stared at the ceiling, numb and afraid, but also furious. She thought I was weak. She thought I'd stay quiet. She forgot who raised her. The hospital smelled like bleach and old pain. I lay in bed, the force softly dripping beside me, and Olivia's voice echoing in my mind. I can take care of everything. Or I can walk away and leave you with nothing. Grief turned into purpose. She thought I was weak, that I'd stay quiet, that her threats would paralyze me. But I didn't raise a daughter just to be betrayed by her and left in the dark. And I certainly didn't spend my life building a future just to hand it over to someone who only saw me as a wallet. No, I wasn't finished yet. The day after I was discharged, my neighbor and oldest friend Dolores picked me up and drove me home. She gasped when she saw my bruised face and wrist in a cast. Margaret, my God. What really happened? I hesitated, then told her everything. Slowly, carefully, when I was done. Then we're going to make sure she doesn't get away with it. I blinked. How? Dolores patted my hand. You raised a smart girl, but she forgot she was raised by an even smarter mother. Step 1 was getting my financial records. I went to the bank with my ID and asked to access the accounts. Olivia had been managing a bank teller, hesitated but eventually brought out a manager when I insisted. You were removed as primary account holder 3 months ago, he said. Everything is now under a joint account in your daughter's name. We tried to contact you about the change. What? I asked, stunned, removed without my consent. The manager looked uncomfortable. We received signed documents. They appeared to match your signature. I knew immediately Olivia had forged them, and that was when I asked the bank to print every single transaction from the past year. What I saw made my blood run cold. There were luxury purchases, international flight bookings, online boutiques. I'd never heard of spa days. Expensive tech gadgets, in total over $180,000. Gone, my entire retirement fund. Everything. I clutched the papers tightly, my heart pounding. But instead of tears, a strange calm settled over me, because now I had proof. Next, I went to the police. The officer at the front desk listened carefully. I handed over the transaction records and copies of the forged forms. I ended up in the hospital, and my suspicions about what Olivia had done. Did she admit to pushing you? He asked. No, I said. But she threatened me at the hospital. I wasn't recording it. He nodded. Unfortunately, without hard proof, it's your word against hers on the assault. But the financial fraud? That's something. We can definitely look into. It was enough for now, but I wasn't finished. I needed Olivia to know I wasn't going down quietly, so I called her. She answered on the first ring. Mom, I've been meaning to come check on you. Feeling better? You stole everything, I said, cold and clear. Silence. I know about the forged documents, the withdrawals, the fake signatures. I've filed a report with the police. She laughed nervously. Mom, come on. You're confused. I'm not, and I have the bank's printed records. Her voice turned icy. You won't see a dime. Everything's in my name now. What are you going to do? Sue your own daughter? No, I replied. I'm going to expose you. Then I hung up the next week. Things moved fast. The bank launched an internal investigation. The police opened a fraud case, but it was what happened next that truly turned the tide. One evening, Dolores and I sat in my living room going over old photo albums when I remembered something. Olivia had once asked me to sign a birthday card for a relative. She handed me a blank card and said, "Just sign it. I'll fill the rest later." I dug it up. Same pen. I compared it to the forged bank form. They were identical. It was obvious she had copied and scanned my signature. Dolores, bless her, called her nephew a lawyer. He agreed to take my case pro bono. Within a few days, a letter was sent to Olivia demanding restitution or we would proceed with civil and criminal charges. Then I did one last thing. I wrote my story. I posted it anonymously in a private Facebook group for older women dealing with family betrayal. I titled it, Greater Than I Raised Her with Everything I Had, and She Took It All. I didn't name Olivia, but the story spread fast. Mothers and grandmothers from across the country commented with support, outrage, and even legal advice. A retired judge messaged me and offered to connect me with a nonprofit that defends elderly people facing financial abuse. I was no longer alone. Then came the call. I didn't expect Olivia. She was sobbing. They're investigating me. My accounts, I could go to jail. Please, Mom, withdraw the complaint. You don't want to see your own daughter in prison, do you? No, I said. I don't. Her crying stopped then. I don't want to see you at all. She went quiet. You made your choices, I added, and now I'm making mine. I hung up.